highly appreciate it. Hopefully you will get a lot out of this next hour. So I am going to be here for an hour from 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my time, all the way to 1. Other reminders for those of you joining, I am streaming this live on YouTube. Other reason why I'm doing that is because it's going to allow me to have a copy or a recording of this. So if you hear something interesting and you're like, wow, I really want to go look that up, I was trying to remember her answer to that question, feel free to go check it out on our YouTube channel. Awesome. So it looks like we have a hand raise. So Sammy, I'm going to bring you up in just a second. But for those of you who have not attended one of these before, the formatting is there is a little raise a hand option at the bottom of your screen. If you raise your hand, you will be brought up. You can unmute yourself and then ask your Amazon ad question. And again, I'm going to be here for about an hour, so we should be able to get to these. Depending on how many raise the hands we have, we might limit it to one question. However, if we there's not really anyone in the queue, we'll open it up and we'll let us go back and forth. So Sammy, feel free to unmute and ask your question. Hey.
Hello.
Hey, you got a lot of background noise there, but did you have an Amazon ad question? Hello?
Hello.
Yes. How can I help?
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
Yes, I am good. What about you?
I am doing well. Did you have an Amazon ad question? If not, I got another raise a hand.
Okay, ma'am. No English. Yes, Urdu.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you joining. I'm going to move you down to listening because it looks like we have somebody else raising their hand. So, for anyone listening in, if you want to ask an Amazon ad question, feel free to raise your hand. So, Amar, feel free
Hey
to
Leslie, how
unmute.
are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? How can I help?
I'm good. Everything's fine. I just want to know, I have a question related to the Amazon brand registry. Actually, I wanted to know one thing that I've heard about, that there is an update coming right now, that if you have a brand registry, then you have to engrave your logo on all the inventory. Otherwise, Amazon will remove your brand registry. So do you know about that, any update, and how much time will it take to be implemented on Amazon?
Yeah, so that's a new one to me. So repeat that again. You said you will need to, is it to the listing or to your advertising?
Yeah, actually, I'm repeating it again. As you know, that Amazon is going to update one new movement in which, if you are already brand registered, then you have to send the inventory. All the units should have logo on it, and
Yeah.
it shouldn't be engraved.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be peelable. It should be engraved on the every single unit of inventory. So,
Yes.
what do you know about that, and how much time will it take to be implemented? Because I was about to send the inventory in Amazon, so I just wanted to know, make sure, because I'm already brand registered, but my inventory do not have a logo on it. So I just wanted to know about how much time will it take.
Yeah, so that I honestly have no idea. So it's going to be one of those things like we'll probably get away with it for a little bit when they're actually going to bring down the ban hammer. That unfortunately I'm not really sure on. I would maybe ask her on the LinkedIn community.
All right.
I mean,
Sounds good. But the thing is,
yeah.
I will really appreciate it, yeah, if you post something as soon as possible, so that I can have a detail, because a number of clients in my queue, they want to know about it, so I can proceed with the things. But unfortunately, if in future I will not be able to send the inventory, and Amazon will remove my brand history just because of that, so what will happen? That will be really difficult for me. So I wanted to know it, that when, how much time will it take, because Amazon has already updated it that they are going to implement it very soon.
Yeah. So
So
if I hear anything, I'll definitely make a post about it. But as
great.
of right now, I'm not really sure. I would keep that in mind for your next reorders.
So it means I can send my inventory right now without logo, right?
Uh I don't know. I said it. So I would say like if it's possible for, I mean, because it depends on how soon you're going to sell through the inventory, right? Like if you send it in and then you get stuck with it, I so that one I'm not really sure on, and I would give you a direct answer, but I'm afraid if I give you a direct answer, it's probably going to be wrong.
No
So
issues. No issues. You can take time, but make sure to post on LinkedIn as soon as possible. I will be thankful for you.
yeah, and I would also follow others in the ad community. So
Okay,
I
thank
appreciate the
you.
question. Thanks. Cool. I will bring up the next. Looks like we have quite a few people with hands raised, so maybe we'll do possibly one follow-up question, unless we can work through everyone. So, hello,
Hi there.
how
Hi
are
there.
you?
I would like to. Can you hear me? Can
Yes,
you hear
I
me?
can hear you just fine.
Okay, okay. I would like to ask regarding the strategies, advertising strategies of
Mm-hmm.
those listings that contain multiple variations. Suppose we have a parent, and under that parent we have like 80 to 90 variations,
Yep.
and we have in our inventory, like we have 10 parents, and each of them contains around 80 variations. So how to manage a bulk inventory advertising campaigns so that we can have a proper advertising strategy as well. We can have a proper data to conclude something. We currently in our Amazon catalog, we have launched multiple auto campaigns at a very low bid, micro bid campaigns,
Mm-hmm.
and they are giving a good data, but we are not figuring out that how to move towards the manual campaigns and which listings we should target.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have multiple essence in a particular campaign of a particular parent listing that contain multiple variations, it becomes very difficult for you to conclude
Yeah. So I
like
think
which sale is coming from that which variation.
Yeah, so
Yes,
I
so
appreciate the
what
question. And it is one
mhm.
you are not the first person to ask, and I agree with you. It's a very complicated and like how the heck do you even figure this out? So I would highly recommend.
Mhm.
I will give you the answer to it, but I also have a complete YouTube video specifically dedicated to this because this is a question I don't expect to ever stop getting because it's one that we puzzle through ourselves as well. And so.
Basically, I have already watched multiple videos of Jungler
Mhm.
YouTube channel, your YouTube channel, but I couldn't stumble upon the exact video and couldn't get a proper idea. How to figure out the situation, because currently we are in season, our product is in season, and we are missing a lot of things that our potential competitors are doing very well in
Okay,
this scenario.
cool.
We are not doing very well, but we are the brand, yeah, among the brand leaders. So I want to have a big market share among those competitors. So could you please do something in this regard, like variations listing? What would be
Yes.
the
So tell you what
strategy,
I'll
advertising
do
strategy?
is right after this or send me a message on LinkedIn and I will make sure that I'll send you the direct link for the video. And apologies if you weren't able to find it. Maybe we didn't do so good with our titles or thumbnails or something. So what I'll do is I'll send you the direct link. But for those of you listening, I will answer your question. Like I'll give you a very short answer. The video is going to have a much like longer and a couple pro tips and stuff in there. So I recommend listening to
By
both.
the way, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm gonna drop a message. Then
Okay.
please kindly refer a link. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Yes.
Yep.
But the short answer to your question is that for your broader, like non-variation specific keywords. So the example I always give is like cup, right? So if we are just advertising on, say, like metal cup, I don't know if they want the pink one. I don't know if they want the blue one. I don't know if they want the 30 ounce or the 16 ounce. I have no way to like identify which variation to connect with that search. And so for those, what we do is we build out campaigns advertising our best sellers. And so to find the best sellers, I would go into the business reports. You want to not only look at the best seller in terms of sales, but also the best seller in terms of conversion rate. So we analyze which ones are the best sellers, and then those are the ones we build out our like more broad or say general keyword targeting around. Now, for anything that has a variation specific, so for instance, 30 ounce, women's pink metal cup, anything we can directly connect to be relevant to a specific variation, we'll build out campaigns with only those relevant variations in them. So that's like the short, quick answer to that. But I would recommend going and watching that video because it'll, I go into a little bit more detail on there that you might find helpful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Of course. I appreciate the question. It's a great question. Hold on. Sorry. I have to move to listening. I almost reported you, which would not be good because it was a great question. Cool. So I'm going to move you back to listening. I'm going to bring up the next person. Nadia, feel free to unmute and ask your question. And let me know if I got your name right.
Hello, it's
Hello.
Neda.
Nida, okay. Hello, how are you?
I'm really good. I feel so excited that I'm connected with you. It's been a dream, one of my dreams coming true because I've been following you for years.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, hopefully I can help.
Yeah, I have a simple question, but that is my main query right now. That is, my two of my accounts of two different marketplaces. One is France and the other is US. So they have the same scenario. The sales that they're getting are from ASIN targets, from the campaigns that are targeting specific ASINs. And they are not ranking on any of the main relevant keywords. They are ranked, but they're unable to get sales from those keywords. So due to that reason, my product is not getting ranked organically. All the sales I get are from PPC. So how can I get my product ranked organically if the main source of the sales is ASIN targeting?
Yeah, that's a great question. So,
also I wanted to add, sorry for interruption.
No,
also,
go
I
ahead.
wanted to add that all the products are newly launched. It's been a month and a half, and the other product is 2 months younger.
Okay. Yeah, so new product launches. So the one thing that I do want to say in the beginning is that that's not a completely uncommon scenario. So you might feel like this never happens to anybody else, and why is it happening to me? It happens to other people as well. It happens in our particular accounts. So one thing I would say is that if the ASIN targeting is working, it's working. I wouldn't be mad at continuously running that. Now, the other thing I would say is that we have been able to get Amazon choice badges and some form of rankings off of just ASIN targeting on some occasions. So it, like, again, if it's working, it's working, and you might just continuously roll with it. Now, ways that you can get keyword targeting to work potentially. One way would be to look at the ASINs in which you are converting the best on and potentially do some reverse ASIN search, like keyword research off of just the ASINs that you're converting on to see if there's any way that you can sort of gain some insights into those, you know, what they are ranked for potentially and kind of where you're showing up in the marketplace. The other thing that you can try and do to, in some ways, sort of like hijack ASIN targeting to potentially leverage that for ranking. Now, the impact on this is a bit undetermined. The only way I can kind of know that it would work is because we have evidence that it's worked in some of our accounts. So it's not like a fail-safe solution, but I would go and look at some of the keywords that you are trying or you would like to rank on, and I would ASIN target the heck out of the top ranked products for those keywords. That can sometimes work and at least allow Amazon to sort of grant you some sort of indexing or association with those keywords. We have had that scenario working. Other things that I would look at is I would take a look at the products and like, so for some reason, the way that Amazon shoppers are interacting with your products is that when you appear on a search page against like a whole bunch of other products, your product is not really it's not appealing. But if you're shown on a product page, so in relation to say like a particular product, there's something about that that shoppers find appealing. Now that could be like star rating, or maybe there's some content on the listing. I would also maybe look at your click-through rates on those keywords. I'm not a huge fan of like optimizing only based on click-through rate because you can have great sales and terrible click-through rates. But it is a really good indicator. So if you're showing like high on top of search on a main keyword and you have a really poor click-through rate, poor being classified as below, if you're showing top of search, I would say anything that's below 0.5, 0.2 to 0.2% to 0.3% is probably like not that great, and anything below a 0.2% is like pretty bad. Again, if I have good sales performance and a bad click-through rate, I don't care. But in this case, what you're doing is looking at the click-through rate to say, can I determine how much shoppers are finding my product appealing on these search pages that I'm appearing on?
Actually, I wanted to add.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I wanted to add that the CTR, the click-through rate, is really good on the top of the search placement. Even I was at a point overspending on the top of the search, but it was a wastage because they were not converting.
Got it.
I opted for the ASIN targets, and they helped me recover what I wasted on the spend. But now so you are suggesting that I should target the low keywords, the low relevant keywords that have a lower bid than the top most relevant keywords.
Yeah, I would say at this point your goal is twofold. One, just how can you maximize the ASIN search targeting that you currently have, and can you gain any indexation off of it, meaning like targeting the ASINs that are highly ranked on those keywords you want to rank on, and see if you can perform it well at all there. And then your second objective is just, can I get any keyword targets to work? I'm just trying to get anything to work. So where can I get something that works? I would.
Should I go for the exact campaigns or the phrase campaigns?
So exact campaigns are really good if you want to get super specific. In your case, I might say do both, because then what you've done is you're targeting things. And if you're only doing an exact match, isn't allowing the algorithm to, because at this point you're just kind of wanting to branch out and just say, hey, I want to find something. So if the goal is to find something, then doing a phrase match was probably beneficial in that case, because it allows you to show up on other search terms.
Sure. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question. It was a really, really great question. So I'm going to move you back to listening. So someone did ask a question in the chat about methodology. So I'm going to answer this super quick. The question was, what is your methodology for use and when to adjust bids by placement? Which metrics do you go by to tell you when to make the increase and by what percentage? Long story short, I'm not a huge fan of placement percentages on broader targeting types, broader being broad match, of course, categories, autos, etc. I think that adds way too much variation into what your potential cost per click would be. Now, there's like really special, interesting, unique strategies you can build using that. I would say generally across the board, we simply focus on mainly exact match, potentially phrase match, depending on what's working in the account. And our methodology for increased adjustments is do it incrementally. So if you see something that's working better being in terms of conversion rate or ACoS, increase by small margin, being like maybe 5 to 10%, track how that performs, and then adjust accordingly would be the short answer. So I've got quite a few hands raised, so I'm going to bring the next person up. Steve, feel free to unmute and ask your question, and then we'll probably do one question and then like probably some follow-up questions and back and forth.
Yeah, thank you so much, Elizabeth. I do have one question. So basically, I am running exact and auto match campaigns, and my main keyword is something, and my auto campaigns and exact match campaigns are getting orders on the main keywords, but I am not getting ranked even on second page. So new sellers are coming, and they are going on the top one page. So it was selling good last year, and campaigns were turned off by some person, and we again turn on campaigns after 5 to 6 months. So is this something I have heard about, how to reset your listing or hard reset so you can get ranked again? So what will be the strategies if the campaigns are off and ranking are down but not able to rank again?
Got it. Okay, so quick recap, just so I make sure I got everything right. You had campaigns running, you used to rank on the keyword, you turned the campaigns off, ranking went down, you turned them back on, and you're not seeing the same traction and you're struggling to rank again. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Cool. What was the context for pausing the campaigns?
Yeah, actually, we have not done. Some person had done it due to some issues. I don't know what was the issue. So it was intentionally paused or something else. I don't know the main issue, but
Okay.
it was done.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I have seen this before, and that's why I actually put out a whole newsletter this last week, was like, hey, campaigns have historical performance. When at all possible, something's working, don't turn it off. Possibly turn it down, possibly lower bids or budgets, don't turn it off. But you're stuck here. Here's where we are. So what I would say is, has there been a change in the product conversion rates? Most likely when you're struggling with if you're struggling with rankings, it really has to do with your conversion rates, and not just your conversion rates, but your conversion rates relative to the market. So have you checked, say, search query performance or brand analytics inside of the Amazon console to like determine how you're doing?
So I am checking the conversion rate on my PPC campaigns and the one on the brand matrices on the PPC console. So it is below right now the medium category conversion rate. So what do you suggest? What will be the good conversion rate? Above than medium or something else?
Yeah. So you would want to have what we observed is that typically to help rank, you would want a conversion rate about above the median conversion rate would be helpful. So if you're seeing it lower, most likely that's the root cause of the struggles with ranking. So I would focus on optimizing conversion rates there.
Okay, so one more question. I do have same product but in different thickness. So how to I adjust for? Or should I promote on different portfolios? For example, the keyword is something yoga mat. I do have two yoga mats. So should I run two different campaigns for exact match or something else?
Are they on the same listing, or are they separate listings?
Yeah, same. Sorry, different listings and their thickness is. Let's say their thickness is different, 6 mm, and other one is 14 mm something. So,
Yeah,
what
so
should be the strategy?
I would treat it like you would a completely different product, even though technically you're advertising on the same keywords. I would just say, does that keyword work for the thicker product? And I would look at whatever the performance is of that product and then optimize accordingly.
Yeah, so it will be a different portfolio for every product, right?
Yep.
Same keywords for different
Yep.
different
So
portfolio.
we treat it. We look at things on a per parent listing or on a listing level. So that's how
Okay,
I would look at it.
so okay. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I
I
really
will,
I
thank you.
appreciate the question. I really
Yeah,
appreciate the
thank you so much.
question. Cool. All right. All right. I'm going to bring the next person up. Feel free to unmute and ask your question. How can I help?
Hey, Elizabeth. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well.
I had a question. Great to hear. Great to hear. I had a question regarding time ranges when analyzing PPC data. And in particular, when you once you download a bulk sheet and you're making changes, is there any recommendation you could give in to what time frame to look. So usually, if I have campaigns that are running for longer periods of time, I like to download a 30-day time frame and analyze that, see what's happening. If it's maybe campaigns that launched more recently, I like to download a smaller time range, let's say 7 days if they just launched a week ago, for example. But are there any hints or any recommendations you could give to what time ranges to analyze when looking at this data?
Yeah, so that's a really, really good question, and actually touches on what I consider, I think, one of, other than the fact that they're manual, the main downside to adjusting things through bulk files, and that is that you have to pick a static date range, which,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
can create issues. So I'm going to give you like pros and cons of each, and then I'll tell you what we do. So pros of looking at, say, like a longer date range, right? You're going to be able to catch things over a longer time period and see if they work. Downsides to that is you miss what's happening right now. And then kind of the opposite, of course, for like the shorter date range, you get to see more, a little bit more what's happening right now and optimize based on recent performance. But one major thing you can miss is like if there's anything that's underperforming, and because there's just not enough clicks on that short timeline, you can end up missing things that you should otherwise optimize. So the way that we do it is actually on different days of the week, we actually look at different time ranges is what we do. So for the bulk of our optimization sequences, I believe we look at the last 14 days because we found that that gives us like a short enough time horizon that we're optimizing based on more recent trends, but it's not so short that we might miss something. And then what we'll do is we'll download a longer date range. So I think in our case, either we do 30 or 60 days dependent. And what we're doing in those longer date ranges is we're specifically looking for things that have clicks with no sales or really high ACOS. High ACOS is, according to us, like say typically on accounts it's above 100%, although like supplements you might go like 150 or something, that have only a couple orders and a certain amount of click ranges. So that's kind of how we do the pros and cons. And then other things you can look for is in the longer date ranges or something that used to be working that you might have over optimized. You can also look for those as well.
Okay, no, that's actually some very, very great tips. Because, like you said, indeed, like if you're looking at 30 days, there might be a huge change in, or maybe not a huge, but a sudden change in conversion rate in the last
Yeah.
week. Let's say that maybe you're downloading a trailing 30 days, so eventually you'll catch up to that conversion rate, but it will take some time to for you to hit that optimal bit for that
Yep.
conversion change in that period. So. Yeah, no, I think it's very interesting, the 14-day report, and I'll try it out also, see how that works for me.
Yeah. Let me know how it goes. Fun. I'm hoping potentially we may get the ability to download more than one date range in a bulk file. So
That would be amazing. Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, no, I hope so too. That would be amazing indeed.
Awesome. Well, I know I appreciate the question. It was a really great question. Cool. I'm gonna bring up the next speaker. So for anyone who has recently joined us, just so you know how this works is I will be here until 1:00, which means I got another good half an hour with you all. So if you have an Amazon ad question, feel free to use the raise a hand option at the bottom of your screen. You'll be brought up. You can ask your question. All right. Thank you for listening to that spiel. How can I help?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for Elizabeth for doing this. I really appreciate it, and you are helping us a lot.
Awesome.
I have two questions.
Sure.
So first of all is for the new release or new listing. Are you suggesting running multiple ads like different? Like I am multiple ads means like running multiple categories ad or like multiple product ad or multiple keyword based ad or even the automatic ad campaign. Do you suggested this type of things or like if you for the I am talking about the new release. Or are you seeing like keyword based ad campaign targeting like broad mass, exact mass or phrase mass individually or doing that in a single ad campaign? Because
Okay.
I have
So
different.
just like I would just want to make sure I'm understanding the question correctly, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong. So you're asking about, are you asking about putting different match types into a single campaign versus creating multiple campaigns? Or are you asking about product launch strategy?
Actually, I wanted to know that if it is running a multiple automatic ad campaign on different beat, it is a good idea to run
Yeah.
same type of ad campaign, doing it like 2 or 3 ad campaign for 50 cents or like $1. It is good because we are just making competitive for ourselves, because I
Got
experienced
it.
in my one of my clients. He ran a lots of ad campaign, and lots of ad campaign. When I take over, I just saw when I take run new ad campaign, they are just not working. We are not getting any impression or any clicks. So we connected Amazon, and Amazon didn't find out the way. So we had to stop all of the ad campaign for 1 month, and then it changed their algorithm.
Okay, so my first answer would be there's absolutely no issue with running multiple auto campaigns at different bid settings. I would say I'm not a super huge fan of running multiple, like targeting the same keyword in a whole bunch of different campaigns if the bids are very close together. So for clarity's sake, you're not going to drive your own cost per clicks up. That doesn't happen. But what
Yes,
might
I am
happen
totally agree with you.
is that your like impressions, you might get impressions for that same keyword in one campaign, and then you get some impressions in the other campaign, and it just creates a difficulty when it comes to optimization, is what I would say, if the bids are too close together. But other than that, I think you're perfectly good to run an ad account like that.
Thank you for clearing up. I am feeling the same way. That's why I am clearing up with you. And I have another question. And I am sorry, I have another question with you.
Okay, yeah, if we can ask it fast, because there's about 3 people waiting.
Yes.
But go ahead.
For the new release, are you suggesting using the high bids to drive the maximum in visibility at the first week or the second week, or are you suggesting with the low bids and continue to increase the bids? Because when you trying to high bids at the initial stage, then when suddenly you wanted to drop the bids, it just won't work.
Yep, that
So
is
what do you
a
suggest?
good question, and the answer is it depends. I actually have a whole video of this. It's called "Starting Bids?" I think is what the thumbnail says, on our YouTube channel. Because the thing is that there's pros and cons to each. So pros to starting at high bids is you tend to get data a lot faster. That would be my personal preference upon like a product launch. What we're doing in that scenario though is we have the understanding that at high bids, we're going to have a high amount of ad spend. So we'll limit the amount of keywords that we're going to put high bids on, just to make sure that we're not like all of a sudden spending like, thousands of dollars a day or something, unless that's what the client's intending. Pros to doing low bid is that typically, again, ad spend's going to be a little bit lower. But the cons to that is that it takes a lot longer to get the data feedback. So if you're able to get data feedback a much faster, it's nice to start with high bids, but there are certain intentionally low bid campaigns where it makes sense to start things lower and then work your way up. It really is more dependent on the strategy of the campaign and also the available budget than anything.
Yeah, thank you. Happy. I am really agree with your concern, and I am feeling the same way. That's why I am asking this question, and thank you for clearing up.
Yeah, of course. No, I definitely appreciate the question. Thanks so much. Cool. I'm going to bring up the next question, and I see we have about 4 in the queue, so we'll try and get through. We have time. We got like 20 minutes. So, Mar, feel free to unmute and ask your question.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Actually, I have 2 questions.
All right.
That will be very helpful for others as well. The first question is related to the case study. I will share the case study, then I will ask you about the questions.
Okay.
The first thing is that I was working with a brand, and they were selling like ring toss games on Amazon in USA. I started with the launch like $175 per day spent, and after like 2 months, I started getting 900 units sales in 1 month. What happened, unfortunately, inventory was not fine and we started getting negative reviews in the beginning. After like 45 rating, we came at 3.8, and once we went to 3.6, Amazon take on the all the spurts of organic ranks, and we were like at second page, and our sales from 900 to become 300 per month. So what do you think, sir, about that? How we can handle that listing? Let's suppose I have an inventory left like 2000 units in an Amazon warehouse. So what do you suggest about to that? So how we can handle all the things? I took my per day budget PPC from 175 to $65 per day, so that we can just extract the product cost and we can sell the inventory on no loss and no profit. But how I can handle to proceed with this thing? Then after that, I will ask you the second question. Thank you.
Yeah. So it really, I mean, like this is one of those really crappy scenarios when it comes to advertising, because the issues are more to do with the product than it is with the advertising. What you're looking to do is try and figure out a strategy that at least lets you save your shirt on the advertising. I would say the main thing is, this a client account?
Sorry?
Is this a client account or is this your account?
Yeah, you can consider it's my,
Okay, cool. No, I was only
because I
gonna
always
say,
consider my client as my
no, so my
as
my
my
only
onboarding.
my only question, the why it even matters is if it's a client account, is the main thing to do in these scenarios. If it's a client account, is setting very clear expectations about what's possible. I would say I would go into that first if it's a client account, be like, hey, look, this is the lay of the land. The reason why you're seeing the numbers that you're seeing is because you have a poor star rating on the product, which means the product's not appealing, and that is hurting the conversion rates. My guess is that the main issue is that the conversion rates dropped, and that's why you can't get rankings and you can't get sales, and ACOS probably went to the moon because conversion rate.
Yeah, I'm just asking about how you can get these things to overcome. Like, let's suppose if I start removing my inventory, and I should proceed with the same listing, or I should start again from the new listings.
Oh, well, I mean, if you have really bad reviews, most likely you would probably want to restart the listing so you get rid of those reviews. I would just say, like, and again, this is completely outside my area of expertise, so like take what I'm saying with a heaping teaspoon of salt. But
Actually, I have created like
I
4 to 5
would,
more models
yeah.
for that to overcome all the things. I was just taking something advice from you. That what would you suggest about that?
Yeah, I would say, so what I would gauge is, do you think that no ratings is going to be a better, are you going to get better conversion rates with no ratings and then working to build up ratings versus poor ratings? Like, in which scenario do you think you're going to have the better long-term solution and also the better potential short-term conversion rates? My guess is it's going to be the no reviews, because to get the star rating up from where it is now, you're going to have to you're going to have much more momentum and good reviews to get rid of it, versus if you had, if you start from 0 and then you get one good review, all of a sudden you have a good rating on the product, and you're not.
I got the click against this thing that what I'm going to do, that I'm going to our inventory more and more, but that would be really good quality. I will sell them, but what I will do, I will mix the units of previous inventory with them, so I can keep maintain my reviews like 4.2 to 4.5. So I cannot get more reviews, negative reviews. So I cannot get the more negative reviews, and I can be easily able to sell the previous inventory too. So I can sustain in the market as soon as possible. So this was the point which came in my mind.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the one thing I would worry about is like, I would definitely dig into what the negative reviews are saying, and like, hey, how can I fix these issues with the products? I mean,
Exactly, this is what I'm doing right now.
Okay, awesome. No, I mean, it sounds like you're on the right track.
And the second question is related to that. Could you tell me about the last week Unbox Amazon meeting held, and do you know about the things that what are the changes that are going to be done in exact match, phase match with respect to the Amazon other channels? So because previously it was working the DSP Amazon campaigns, but right now they have decided to proceed with the exact campaigns, broad campaigns, and other SD campaigns both. They have decided to push their PPC from Amazon platform to Amazon channels platform. So what do you know about that? Can you share me the details? Because I was finding the most so many videos, but unfortunately I didn't get that.
Okay, so again, I'm going to clarify what I think I understand is your question and let me know where I'm wrong. So you're asking about the changes to the match types and how they affect our strategy?
outside the Amazon platform. How?
How, sorry,
Like
repeat that?
Amazon, I unbox Amazon meeting list, which was held last week, and
Mm-hmm.
most of the sellers and most of the service provider were there, and they were sharing about the new
Oh,
change that, yeah, new change related to the SP campaigns, sponsored products campaigns. They are going to be live on outside the Amazon
oh,
platform
oh,
on
oh, oh,
Amazon's.
yeah. Yeah, okay, I heard
Okay,
what you're saying. Yes. So, for
this
those
is
of
what
you,
I'm asking, that
yeah,
how much, like how I am getting the things, how I will get the search term reports of other channels of Amazon,
yes.
because right now we are getting the things on this platform, but how I will be able to get the data on other channels of Amazon platform. There are like 5 to 6 channels of Amazon, so they have decided to pursue these things. So do you know about it,
Yes,
about the PPC?
yes. Okay, so I get the question now. So for those of you listening, just so you can clarify, Amazon announced that sponsored product ads will have the ability to be able to show up off platform. Off platform meaning like on other websites
Hmm.
that are, or the domains that are owned by
Yeah,
Amazon.
yeah, yeah,
And
exactly,
so
exactly.
everyone kind of freaked out and they were like, great, there is no way for me to even turn this off. How am I going to see visibility into this? How is this going to affect the performance of my campaigns? So everyone was a little bit freaked out about it. The thing is that is actually active in all of your accounts right now, whether you know it or not. Your sponsored products may be showing off platform. So
Yeah,
what we've seen is that there's little to no impact currently. I would keep an eye on it. And if you would like to, now you won't be able to see the search terms that you're showing up on. So that's not an ability. But if you go into your sponsored product reports, and if you download your placement reports, you'll actually be able to see the off platform placements. And so what you can do is you can just calculate the performance of that, and that will give you an idea. And what we've seen is that the amount of impressions and spend is like almost nothing at this point. Again, you might want to keep an eye on it, but so far we haven't seen any huge shakeups from that.
all right. And what do you think about the influential live videos on Amazon, which we get from different influencers? Do you think so that is it more conversionable or not?
It really depends on the category, and it also depends on the video.
All right, all right. Thank you, Elizabeth. And one more question.
Well,
Last, this is very small,
actually,
like
sorry,
for
I have two other people in the Q and I got about 15 minutes. So
10
tell you what,
seconds.
if I'll put you down
Only
into
10 seconds.
listening, and then if you want to raise your hand again, if I have
Yeah,
time,
this is
I
only
will.
10 seconds. The
Cool.
thing is that I just a small complaint from you for you.
Okay.
Whenever I text you on the LinkedIn, make sure to reply it like 2 to 3 days. I will be very thankful for you for that.
Okay. Well, no, I mean anyone listening, if depending on what the question is that you asked me in my messaging, my inbox gets pretty crazy. So, um, we will see what I
I
can
do
do.
wait
But
always for your reply.
cool.
So because it
Awesome.
takes too much time. Thank you so much for your time. Take
Yeah,
care. Bye bye.
of course. I appreciate it. Cool. All right, we got two more people. For those of you still listening, if anyone else has a question, we probably have good time to sneak it in. If you want to raise your hand, and I can bring you up and unmute you, but um, feel free to unmute and ask your question.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear
I'm
me?
good. Okay, so yeah, I can hear you. Can you
Awesome.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah. So I have two questions.
Okay.
Number one question is, my product is newly launched and
Mm-hmm.
I targeting keyword in phrase match.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so right now bid is high and I'm also getting clicks,
Mm-hmm.
but not sales.
Mm.
And I also add free something with my product. Okay, so right now my listing is optimized, pictures are also very good,
Mm-hmm.
and price are low from the other competitors,
Mm-hmm.
but right now I don't have reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So what should I do right now? What type of keyword should I target right now? Means low keyword or high keyword? Right now my keyword has a good search volume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and competitor is 2000. So which keyword should I target right now, and can I target ASIN in this situation?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So the one thing that I will say is you will notice a distinct difference in the conversion rates after you start getting reviews. So I would say we almost kind of look at it as like before reviews and then after reviews. The other thing that I would look at if you're advertising in phrase match is I would look at your search term reports. So you can either use a search term report tab inside the ad console, or you can download your search term. Because my question would be, okay, so we're advertising on these, this keywords that you've chosen, but you could have like different search terms that you're showing up on that just aren't as relevant to the product. So I would check that.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. So can I ask?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So I also did negative targeting. Means my product is plastic product. So I saw glass keyword is negative to my product. So yeah. So I target that keyword in negative negative phrase. So should I target right now more search like negative keywords?
At this point, I would just see like what's showing up in the search term reports and just go off of that. I'm not a huge fan of doing like preemptive negative keywords. Some people love it. I never have. I think it limits your reach. So right now I would say I would focus in. I wouldn't worry too much about search volume. Like I wouldn't want to go any lower than, I don't know, like 300 is still pretty low, like 500 maybe like kind of low. If you can find like a couple thousand search volume, that would be great. Even higher, potentially better. But I would focus more on what I call high relevancy keywords, meaning I always use, I should find a better example, but I always use the word cup, right? So if I have like a women's insulated metal water bottle, right? If I looked at the search term like women's pink rubber coated insulated water bottle, like that's my exact product, right? Now the more specific you get to the product, the more specific the search is, the lower your search volume is going to be. So what we always look to do on product launches is like we try and find the intersection between good search volume, and good to us is like maybe even a couple thousand depending on the budget. That also have really good relevancy to the products, because what you're trying to do is you want to get in front of your exact shoppers. So example would be insulated water bottle is going to be really expensive and not super specific to my product. Like it's kind of specific but not really specific. So I'm trying to say like, okay, where can I start getting super specific to my product, but it's going to have enough search volume that I can get the sales volume that I need. And you looked, so I would focus more on that versus than I would looking at only search volume, if that makes sense.
Okay. So I want to ask one more thing. When buyer comes to buy something on Amazon, so what they see to buy the product means what they see: reviews, discount, any sale, or something free on product, or low price.
Yeah, so all the above. So the main determiner, I would go and type in like whatever search you want to look at. And like what does the product page? So the first thing they see is the main image. They see your review count, like the review star rating. They see your price, and then they often, like if you have a coupon, that appears on the product, right? So those are the main things that they evaluate to even determine, is this something that I'm interested in? And that's why click-through rate is really helpful to like determine how shoppers see your product. And if that click-through rate determines interest, and conversion rate determines the want to purchase. So yeah, so that's the first thing they look at. And then the second thing they look at is mainly images. Images are actually like some of the most important things to get right. Because
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. It was a really great question. I wish you all the best of luck with your product launch.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Of course. My pleasure. Awesome. All right. So got one more person in the queue. Ski, I appreciate raising your hand and asking a question. So I'm going to bring you up. Feel free to unmute and ask a question. And for those of you still listening, we got about 10 minutes left. Oh, Esky jumped down. Let's see. I'm going to bring you back up again. Cool. Hello. How can I help? If you're able to unmute, feel free to open it up.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. You?
I'm doing well.
Happy to speak with you.
Awesome.
So, my question, I have two questions. Basically, the first one is more about product launching.
Okay.
I like to run buying program in order to get those initial review, and then I start kicking my campaigns. With some brands, the cost of the product is really high.
Yeah.
So sometimes the client is not willing to give away stuff for free. So basically, do you have some kind of a strategy in that case? And my second question is more about software or about technology. I use Helium 10 and Jungle Scout. I use in the past Stackline, mostly for keyword research. Do you have a list of recommendations for software and even something that include AI to manage the campaigns, to manage the bidding, the budget, the keyword research? So basically, two big questions.
Yeah. So on the first one, I mean, as far as giveaway strategy, there's like if somebody's not wanting to do something, sometimes it's kind of hard to convince them. I would say if you have any data you can pull out from other clients showing the increase. So if there's any way for you to forecast or at least get a benchmark for the increase in conversion rates with reviews, without reviews, and then you can kind of play that into, okay, so if your conversion rate was this for the same traffic, look how much more sales you get, and kind of paint it as like just give them the number or at least the benchmark of numbers on like the actual advantage when it translates to sales of the reviews. That might be an option. Other than that, I don't really have anything. I mean, I know like the request a review button. So there it's still a matter of just getting sales volume. And sometimes that's difficult, especially on high price products if there's no reviews. So that's the only really thing I can think of is just kind of show them in the numbers and the data what's the advantage to them.
Yeah, makes sense.
For the second question and the tools, so you're talking to somebody who loves doing things scrappy and themselves. So a lot of our tools are like in-house tools. We're actually like working to build up our capabilities and gotten API access and are doing some cool stuff with that. As far as the tools that we use, so when it comes to keyword research, tracking keyword ranking, we use Helium 10. I have one account manager who loves Viral Launch, so we use that on occasion. For keyword rank tracking, we still use Helium 10. And we're also starting to use something called Data Rova. That's actually a pretty economical tool. I'm relatively okay. It's missing a couple of the options that Helium 10 has, although I think they're building it in, so we'll see how that goes.
What's the name? Sorry.
It's called Data Rova. If you type it in, you should be able to find it. The other one, no, it's not particularly for the ad management. For the analytics, though, like my team can't live without it. It's called KPOQ, KAPOQ. That's like an integral part of our tool stack. As far as for management of the campaigns, to be honest, I'm not a really big fan of any AI-enabled ad management solutions just because I really haven't seen them work really well. Our current Amazon like ad management solutions, again, it's a lot of in-house built tools, mostly because like I wrote our build algorithm and I know what it does and I know how to optimize it and tweak it for any updates that come out. So we're really integrated with that. But I've heard really good things. If you have a system that you want to automate, Scale Insights is a really good option for that. They have a wealth of like customizable options. That one, Again, you're going to have to put it up yourself. If you're looking for a bit more of a hands-off solution, I'm a super huge fan of AdBadger and their bid algorithm. I think is probably one of the most solid like plug and play bid algorithms. Again, it's not built off of AI, but it does have a really solid like optimization algorithm behind it. If you like getting super data driven and you want more long-term options as far as reporting and you like to be a little bit more nitty-gritty, IntentWise is a really good solution for bid automations. And they also have, I think, a little bit more reporting when it also comes to like say overall sales and stuff as well.
Nice. Those are great nuggets, golden nuggets.
Oh, hopefully it helps. Yeah, all of those ones I mentioned are really awesome. So
I'm gonna check it out. Thank you so much.
yeah, of course. No, I appreciate the question. Cool. Moving down to listening, we have a couple more hand raises. We might be able to get through one or two if we go fast. I have a hard stop at 1 though, so I'm gonna bring up Seeb and feel free to unmute and ask your question.
Actually, my client product was getting clicks and impressions on the keywords, but now the bid is same, but the campaigns was turned off some period. So it was turned on again, but we are not getting any impressions or not any clicks. So I have increased my bid to highest bid on the main keyword. So, but I am not getting any good impressions. And the search volume is quite good, above than 6,000.
Okay. Do you have any impressions at all, or do you have no impressions?
Yeah, I do have already impressions when the campaigns are running good, but it was turned off due to stock issues and some listing optimization issues. So I had turned on again, but I'm not getting impressions and clicks.
Okay, so after they're turned back on, you're getting 0 impressions, is what I'm hearing. Just to clarify.
Yeah, too much little bit. You can say 0.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to figure out is are there like 1 or 2 impressions? Is there any whatsoever, or there's just nothing?
Yeah, some impressions, some.
Okay. If you are getting some impressions, this is going to hurt because it's going to mean that ACOS might go high, but you just got to increase the bids. If you got traction and some impressions from increasing bids, I would increase the bids further. And what I would do is, so what's going to happen is if you increase bids on everything, then you're just going to end up with a lot of ad spend. So what I would do is I would go through and I would analyze the past performance and see which keywords you got the best performance on. And I would specifically increase the bids for those select keywords. Just see if you can get any traction whatsoever, and then work your way up.
Yeah, I did the same. I checked the backend performance and the CP, and I had to check the CPC. So I adjusted the bid above than the CPC, but I'm not getting impressions and clicks. So I don't know. I'm not figuring out what is the reason why it is happening. Even I raised the bid.
Yeah. So most times, so you're going to have to treat this like a product launch. If the product goes out of stock and you pause things, when you come back in stock, you have to treat it like a product launch. And you remember in the beginning when you did the product launch and like you had really high bids and you had to keep increasing those bids and like ACOS wasn't what you wanted and you just had to optimize like eventually to get where you are now, you have to repeat that cycle. It's annoying. That's why everyone says like the first, second, and third rule of selling and maintaining sales is don't run out of stock. Because when that happens, essentially, so treat it like a relaunch. So you remember how you went back and you got super targeted with your keywords and you pushed on those keywords for ranking and you had your bids really high and you just really dug into it and got aggressive. You're going to have to just go back through that playbook, go back through that sequence, and just kind of start over. Think of it as starting from square one, except for the benefit now is that instead of completely starting from square one and not knowing exactly what works, now I would go back and say, okay, instead of me just doing keyword research again and starting from square one, I'm essentially doing keyword research within my own account and looking back at historical performance and say, okay, this is what worked. This is my launch strategy, because at least I have targets that I know have performed before.
Yeah, thank you so much. What should I do now is I do have one question. Should I do have 1,200 units on the Amazon warehouse right now, but the main issue is I am not getting any traffic right now. So should I remove the inventory from there or from warehouse, and after 2 to 3 weeks I have to resend inventory to warehouse, and you said you have to relaunch your product, or this one is option, or I have to add one more ASIN. Right now I do have two child lesson, so should I add third child lesson, and can I send inventory to this SN so it will be a launching stage again?
So when it comes to launch, you don't have to do any removal order. I mean, the removal orders is going to depend on more like your business strategy, meaning like, are you going to get charged like storage fees, and does it make more sense to do a removal? Removals are an absolute pain, so I wouldn't go out of my way to do one. And as far as like the new product launch, it depends. So if you're getting no traction on the new listing, maybe you launch it as a separate listing and see if you can get any traction. But if there's any reviews on the original listing, then it might make sense to combine them if you don't see any other way of getting reviews on the new product. So that's how I would approach it.
Yeah, I'm thinking to merge the third one, ASIN, and to the previous one. So maybe reviews will be merged and the ASIN will be on launching stage.
Yeah, that's an option. Or another option that people often do is launch it as a separate listing and then enroll it into Vine. And then once you have the Vine reviews on the separate, then you merge them, so you get the benefit of all the reviews and you can benefit from Vine. That's another option as well.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I definitely appreciate the question. And for those of you who are still joining and listening, I very much appreciate you all attending. So my plan is to do these once a week on Thursdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for I think the second Thursday when we have Thanksgiving. Obviously, I won't be doing it over Thanksgiving. I'll be spending time with the family. But if you are interested, make sure you tune in next week, same time next Thursday. And I really, really appreciate you all attending. And for those of you who want to catch a replay, this is been streamed live on YouTube, so feel free to catch me there. And anyways, I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for joining.